Welcome to the Connect Secure Administration and Maintenance e-learning video. In this session, we will review the initial configuration for the Connect Secure console. We begin with this following example. We base our initial configuration on a simple topology as shown. Remote devices running Pulse Secure Client require access to the protected server that resides in the corporate intranet. Pulse Connect Secure is hosted on a PSA 5000 in a separate security zone. We must first configure Pulse Connect Secure before any users will be able to access protected resources remotely. Before you begin to perform the initial configuration steps, you must connect to the device's console port. The connection is a standard serial terminal connection and provides you with a text-based interface for configuration. You can use any terminal emulation program, such as HyperTerminal. This slide shows the required speed and bit settings. The initial configuration consists of 5 steps. Note that the purpose of this initial configuration dialog is to configure sufficient IP connectivity for remote administrative access. You cannot completely configure Pulse Connect Secure from the console. You must use the web-based admin UI. After connecting your PC to the console port and starting your terminal emulation program, power on Pulse Connect Secure. After the system completes the boot process, the device prompts you to select whether this device operates as a standalone device or part of a cluster. To operate in standalone mode, type Y and press Enter to proceed to the next step in the configuration. If you're booting a PSA 5000 or PSA 7000 module, you have the opportunity to select the personality image of the device. The personality image allows you to run the module as Pulse Connect Secure or Pulse Policy Secure. After choosing the personality, the device can take up to 20 minutes to install the personality that you have chosen. Next, the system prompts you to accept the Terms of License Agreement for Pulse Connect Secure software. To read the specific license agreement, type R and press Enter. Otherwise, type Y and press Enter to continue. The next step configures Pulse Connect Secure for IP connectivity. Pulse Connect Secure assigns your configured IP address to the internal interface, where you use it to access the web-based admin UI. The system prompts you for the following parameters: IP address, network mask in dotted decimal format, default gateway, primary domain name system or DNS server, secondary DNS server. This parameter is optional and you can specify it later if needed. DNS domain. You must specify at least one domain. You can specify additional domains separated by spaces. Pulse Connect Secure uses the configured domain to fully qualify internal unqualified host names and Windows Internet Name Service, which is optional. Once you enter your interface configuration, the system prompts you to confirm your settings. Type Y to accept the configuration or N to clear your settings and start over. Note that this configuration is for the internal Ethernet port labeled Port 1. Although Pulse Connect Secure has a second Ethernet port labeled Port 2, that port is not used by Pulse Connect Secure under normal operations. Next, create an administrator account. For security purposes, Pulse Connect Secure does not have a default administrator account. Without an administrator account, the only means of accessing Pulse Connect Secure is through the console port. Be sure to create a memorable username and password for the administrator account. The username can consist of up to 40 alphanumeric characters, and the password can be up to 32 characters, but it must be a minimum of 4 characters. Note that when you type the password, the text is not displayed. The system creates this administrator user in the local authentication database called administrators on Pulse Connect Secure. If you want to use an external authentication server for administrative access, you can configure this later using the admin UI. The final step in the initial configuration is the creation of a self-signed digital certificate. Until you add a certificate generated by a certificate authority, Pulse Connect Secure uses a self-signed certificate for SSL connections. To create the self-signed certificate, you must supply the following information. Common name. This name is typically the fully qualified domain name of Pulse Connect Secure, but it can be any name you choose as long as it is the correct domain format. And organization name. This name is typically the name of your organization, but it can be anything you want. In general, the certificate should be based on the naming convention you expect to use. That is, a registered FQDN or another convention agreed upon within your network. The random characters you supply seed the random number generator used to generate the public and private keys. The private key is stored, encrypted, on Pulse Connect Secure and is not accessible. Once the initial configuration is complete, you can use the admin UI to create the CA signed certificate for Pulse Connect Secure. When you finish the initial configuration procedure, the system saves your settings and places you at the Serial Console menu. The menu has the following options. Network Settings and Tools. This option allows you to modify the Pulse Connect Secure network settings. This setting also provides access to ping, ARP, and traceroute troubleshooting commands. The next menu option includes Create Admin Username and Password. This option allows you to create or modify administrator usernames and passwords. The next menu option is Display Log. This option gives you access to the 3 systems logs. In addition, System Operations. This option allows you to reboot Pulse Connect Secure, reset the device to factory defaults, and perform other system-level operations. The next menu option includes Toggle Password Protection for the console. This option allows you to secure the console port with a password. If you forget the password, the only recovery is a factory reset, so make sure that you remember your password. To activate the setting, you must reboot. The next menu option is Create a superadmin session. This option provides a way to recover from restrictions placed on the administrator account, such as requiring a certificate or a particular source IP address. Upon selecting this option, the system locks out all other administrative access and creates a one-time use token for sign-in. You must use this token within 3 minutes. The next menu option is System Snapshot. This option saves all current system settings to a backup file. The next menu option includes Allowed Encryption Strength. Pulse Connect Secure requires 128-bit encryption by default, or you can specify that Pulse Connect Secure requires 168-bit encryption. Older browsers, which predate the year 2000 changes in the U.S. export law that required 40-bit cipher encryption for international export, can still use 40-bit encryption. You can either require users to update to a browser with 128-bit cipher encryption, or change the required encryption strength to allow 40-bit ciphers. The final menu option is Remote Debugging. This option allows Pulse Secure support teams to troubleshoot your Pulse Connect Secure remotely. This concludes this Connect Secure Administration and Maintenance e-learning video. Please review the next video in this series.